Hello and welcome to another lesson here in the Learn Sanskrit series, and we are now in lesson 5, and where we're going to present yet another pair of verbs and pronouns. So let's start with the verbs then. The verbs here. Verbs. Okay. We have paśyati, which means he sees. And the root there is drish. Okay, so paśyati, he sees. Then we have bodhati. Bodhati. And that means he knows. And the Sanskrit root there is buddha. Buddha. And last we have bhavati. Which can mean a couple of different things. It could mean simply he is, or it could mean he becomes. Like that. And the root is bhu. So if we take bhavati, then the first. Oh, we can take all the verbs. Just for. Let's see how many lines we have. Okay, we can do this on the next sheet here. So let me switch. Okay, so let's take the verbs and spell them out. We can take paśyami, first singular, second singular, paśyasi, you see. And then we have paśyati, he sees. So paśyami, I see, paśyasi, you see, and paśyati, he sees. And here, of course, we have this new S. Let me make this here, the new S here. That looks like this. So it's a I don't remember what they what they technically call it. Let's see. I think they normally call it a sibilant. All the S sounds, sibilants. But unlike a normal S, this is more like a sh sound. And the difference here, and then the problem is that there's one more sh sound than this. So we have a normal S, and then we have this more sh sound, and then there is another one which we will talk about later. But this one, the new one here, so let's do this in Devanagari here. This is the normal S, and then this new one can be written in different ways depending on which typeface you want to emulate or copy. So, but in many textbooks it's something like this. You go like that, and then you go like that, and then you go down like that, and a vertical stroke like that, something like that. But sometimes I'll do another variant here. Sometimes in Egenes' book there is a more like this one, something like this, with a bigger curl up here, and then he does so that's the typeface he's using. So the difference here then between these two here is that on the one to the right here there's a bigger curl or a bigger circle here at the very top, but here there's almost no circle at all. It's just a mini twirl here. All right, so that's but you can study that yourself later on when you are looking in different books, and you see that there's a difference in the sh sound. But one important point here is about the sound quality, I think. At least in my experience, what I've heard is that the sh sound from this consonant, from this sibilant here, is more treble-like than in this upcoming one, which we will cover in a future lesson. So this is the more how should I say, this more snake-like, with more like a lighter quality to it, compared to this one, which will be a retroflex, more like maybe some wind quality to it. So this is more zzz, like that. But in any case, these are both sh sounds. Okay, good. So so now so we have pashyami, paśyasi, and paśyati. And let's do the same with bud here, bodhami, bodhasi, and bodhati. And we have the last one, bhavami, bhavasi, and bhavati. And alright, so we were talking about the Devanagari here then, down here to the left, and so I was beginning to write here, and okay, pa, and I'll do, and so what I'm doing here then is that we don't have, I'm sorry, I should have written like this down here to the left, sa, sha. So this is sa down here, sha, this one here, and but we don't have sha here, we just have the sh sound on its own. So we have pa here, and then we have to just use the left part of the sha, namely this part here, and skip the vertical stroke here, so that we just continue with the ya sound here. And then it's not only a ya, but a long, it's a ya sound, so we have to have a stroke there. And then the usual mi ending here. Paśyami. And then we have the similar construction here with the S once more. Paśyasi. Like that. And paśyati. Paśyati. Like that. And then we have up here, we have, I don't remember, do we have, did I introduce this or not? Well, if I didn't, I'll do this below here. Da. This is one letter in Sanskrit, D-H-A, and it looks something like that. So when we write it, we have a B, and then we have an O. So to make an bodhami, to make the O sound here, we have to have one extra vertical stroke to make it a ba long. to make it a long syllable, and then we have to have the diagonal, or the sort of diagonal stroke up there. So that's a bodhami. And then we do the da sound, or it actually should be a long. It's not just a da sound, it's a da sound. It's a long ah here, da. And then the usual mi here. Mi. And there is no stroke up here also, so we should leave this open here. Okay, and then we have the same, we do the same thing here almost. Bodha. But here is not a long ah here. We just have bodhasi. And bodhati. And of course everyone has their own style of writing. I mean, you develop, if you're not already doing Hindi or something like that, when you're using Devanagari, then of course you have to do this over and over again until you find the characters that are nicely shaped and all that. So I'm just doing my best here, and I'm of course I may occasionally here not make them perfectly like if they were typed, but the whole thing is to sort of I like the idea of it not being typed. I like the idea of actually writing them with a pen here. So that's well, that's just me. All right, and then we go to hold on, I have to do something here. Hold on. Okay, so what we have here then is bhavami, bhavasi, and bhavati. And so we have right, so we have probably not. Okay, so I go down here and I write bha, and we can compare this with ma, which we already have been writing so many times, right? So we have the ma here, but the ba is almost like that. The difference is just that we have a curly thing here starting off in the left corner, and then we do the same thing here, and then we have a little stroke up there. So ba. So we start with the curl in the upper left, and then we go basically straight down, and then straight horizontally to the right, and then we finish off with a vertical stroke down and a top stroke in the upper right. Alright, so let's exercise a little bit here. Okay, so ba, wa, mi. And the stroke then goes from not covering all here. There should be space in between here. Bhavami. And do it again. Bhavasi. And the stroke there. Bhavasi. And bhavati. Bhavati. Like that, something like that. Alright, so those are the verbs for today, and we are now going to the pronouns. Let's see if we can switch the sheet here. Alright, pronouns. And here we are basically just finishing off so we have finishing off the plural third person. So in the previous lesson we learned the word te, which meant they all. They all am. So they all, meaning three persons or more of the masculine gender. And I'm talking about grammatical gender now, not necessarily biological gender. So, because Sanskrit nouns, they may be either masculine or feminine or neuter. So depending on I mean, there could be a thing which has masculine gender, which is not a person. So we can. So we just have to learn the rule that we're not necessarily talking about biology here. We are talking about the gender in the language, which can be either masculine, feminine, or neuter. Okay, so te is the word we learned last time, but now we also have two other words which let's see, third person plural I write up here, and all of these are third person plural, and the new ones now are taha, and that means they all, feminine. So taha we would use especially if we have a collection of women, or any other collection of things which have a feminine gender in as a word, and we have tāni, which is they all, neuter. Okay, so these are the three variants. And then, of course, so in real life then, when we are forming sentences, we are doing so with the third person plural form of the verb. So, for example, to all of these pronouns, we would have this form only of a verb, whether it's bhavanti or paśyati or bodhati, it doesn't matter, but it's always that. If the verb is in present form, and if it's this declination like that, so it's so the verb could have naturally a different ending, but then it would be a different type of word or a different tense. It could be like a perfect or something, or a future or something like that. Or so, but for a present indicative, this would be the, and for a verb of this type, it would be looking like this. Alright, that sums it up for this lesson, and now we'll have the exercises, which will be posted in the other videos that are for this lesson. So if you're using the playlist, they will come up automatically. So I hope you had a good time, and I also hope that you will have a great day ahead. Bye bye.